Hello everybody and welcome to my next Instagram live. My name is Becky Greaves, if we haven't met. I am also known as the Mindful Ginger Nut. I am just making sure I'm logged into the right account. I am, that's great. That's one of the downsides to managing multiple people's social media accounts, never knowing if you're logged into the right one. Well, not knowing, but yeah, just making sure. So I am now going to try and add today's guest, who is Corinna Kitchen. I can see Corinna in the chat. I'm halfway through this season of Summer Lives, and yes, we've got progress. Yay!
I don't know what happened there, Becky. I'm so sorry, but they wouldn't let me in.
Don't worry
But
at
I'm here.
all.
I'm here.
You're here, that's the main thing. So for
Yeah.
anyone who didn't watch the first attempt, we just had a little bit of an issue trying to get us both logged in. So
And I have got a few people that are saying, I can't get in, I can't. And I said, I'm not in yet. So I'm going to just try and send their link, because they need to be on yours, not mine, don't they? So
that's correct.
yeah.
Although they should be able to see it through yours as well, because we're both live.
Oh yes, in fact, somebody's come on, so that's lovely.
Wonderful, fantastic. And what will happen after this session is this whole conversation will be downloaded onto my feed, and I'll pop it on YouTube as well. So I will circulate the link, so you've got those to share with other people in your network if you wish to. But thank you so much for joining me today, Corinna, because I stopped the first live to come and properly let you in. Everyone missed how I actually pronounce Ayurveda. Did I say it right that time?
Perfect.
It won't last, I promise you.
No, it's perfect. It helps me if I say it slowly somehow.
Yes.
Ayurveda.
I think I get confused by the A, because actually it's pronounced more of an I.
Yes.
Ayurveda. Yeah. So that's how I'm kind of making my brain work it out. But anyway, we digress. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I was saying, Corinna is the founder of Ayurveda Wellbeing. You've got many hats, Corinna. You've done a lot of stuff throughout your career. Do you want to give us a little bit of an intro and tell us a little bit about how you got to being the founder of Ayurveda Wellbeing?
Yes, I'll keep it brief. So firstly, thank you for this, Becky. Lovely to see you and lovely to be here and to be able to share my work. So for over 20 years, I've been a biodynamic psychotherapist and massage therapist. So I've been in the wellbeing world for a long time and really made it my passion to find out things that can make us feel better than we do. You know, I needed that. Most people I knew needed that. You know, the world, we've come so far away from just being in our natural selves. So I've, for many years, been on this path. And then quite some time ago, I found Ayurveda, if you like, and it can seem a bit bizarre that some ancient health and well-being system that sort of originated 5,000 years ago is so relevant to now. But I found for myself and people I work with, and as I share it, it's just this really simple, beautiful, straightforward knowledge that reminds us who we are, reminds us, oh, I can slow down. And actually, yeah, it makes me feel good to be in nature. And actually, and it's sort of more than that. So it's like really supporting us to live in a way that looking after our well-being is part of our life, you know. So you know, meditation, movement, you know, yoga's the sister science, but really it's about what you love. So if swimming's your thing, it would be swimming. But then there's this whole other part, which is, because it's connected to nature, it's looking at the fact that we are nature. And even so, I specialize in pure essential oils which I won't go into today, but food and nutrition. And it's this simple knowledge that really that we are the elements. So we're talking like earth, water, fire and air. And that, just for example, right now we're experiencing all this heat, and we can get really overheated in our system, which can actually make us feel not great and bring symptoms. And just really, really simple ways that we can cool our systems and be on top of it ourselves. So it can sound complex, it can sound something completely alien, but actually it's really simple, lovely knowledge that is actually easy to weave into your life. That's quite a long answer, but
no, that was fantastic, and I've learned something already, because I actually wasn't aware that it was an ancient sort of concept.
yeah,
I've certainly only come across the words Ayurveda, Ayurvedic in the last couple of years, so it's completely new to me, and I imagine that maybe not so much for your followers, but certainly for mine, it'll be a relatively new concept for them too. So your explanation was fantastic. Thank you. So you've obviously trained across a variety of different disciplines. How do these practices all complement each other in the way that you support people? How do you go about your
yeah.
Ayurveda business?
So it's a great question. So as I say, I was a biodynamic psychotherapist first, and really more than anything, that I mean, it's working with the whole of a person, so it's holistic, and the body is a really important part in that, so that as we experience life, we hold it in our body. And if we don't fully process things, that can make us feel less than ourselves. So I'm not going to go into the biodynamic work, but in a way, that's what the biodynamic work, and you can do group work, but my work has mainly been one-to-one with clients, working on, particularly things that they're working through. But what really felt important to me, I love my one-to-one work, but I am such a lifelong learner, and so like all my Ayurvedic studies, then I went into Ayurvedic food and nutrition and essential oils, and all the time I was like, oh my gosh, I can't, everybody needs to know this, everybody, because it's just so actually simple, but we just don't know it. And so really quite a few years ago, it felt really important that I found ways to share this with more than just the one-to-one. And so really that's where Ayurveda Wellbeing was born. And that now is my platform, and I like to call it the sanctuary, because it's free for anyone to join. And the link is in the bio there. And we're only just beginning, so we're very, very new. But literally you can come in, you can have a look around. There's not huge amounts to look around at the moment, but there are recorded meditations, that if anybody wants meditation, it's a place that I speak to anybody that is interested. But there's nothing that anyone has to do, so they can sign up and just be there and hear things, and then if there's something that catches their attention, they think, oh, well, maybe I'll try that, then they can do that. And at the moment I offer a free weekly meditation, as you know, on a Wednesday, just a time, really to take a bit of time out, to come back to ourselves, and we do just a little 20-minute meditation together. And I am soon to be sharing the food and nutrition, and in particular the ways we can keep cool. So I can talk about that in a bit.
I can't wait to find out more about the food and nutrition side. In fact, I keep meaning to offer to help with that if you need any help. So
Perfect.
I would love to do that. It's something that I'm really, really fascinated in, and I think I definitely know that personally I need to dive into Ayurveda more, because I think it would help. You mentioned the heat that is around, particularly in the UK at the moment. We're having a particularly warm summer, beautiful, not complaining, but I generally feel hot all the time, and it's hard to know whether it's because of my age, because it's the weather or whether it is because of the food and nutrition and the other stuff that's going on in my life. Sorry, I'm throwing my notebook all over the place now. So yeah, it's definitely something that I'm intrigued to find out more about. And I guess for other people watching, how do we know what could be solved by Ayurveda, and what is perhaps more of a health issue, or is it just all combined?
It's all combined. So it's a great question, and it's really lovely that you're considering these things, because in a way, Ayurveda it really helps us to tune back into ourselves. And, you know, the one thing I always say is, you know, how are you feeling? What feels a bit off, and what do you need? So, like with the hot thing, oh, I'm feeling hot, I need to be cool. And it's a great question about what causes these things. And so if we're just focusing on heat, because we're all feeling that at the moment, you know, you're not alone, and actually it's normal and right in a way that you're feeling as you're feeling, and we're feeling as we're feeling, because it's what's happening in nature. And this is what Ayurveda is all about. You know, okay, we're in nature, this is what's happening. Guess what? We're going to be affected by it. But how do we manage it? And so with the food and nutrition, if I put it in really, really simple terms, there are a certain amount of superfoods, if you like, for the Pitta dosha. And the Pitta is that fire in us. And when the fire gets too much, so when the fire is working well, it's our passion, it's our drive, it makes us get everything done. So it's, you know, it's vital. But when it gets too hot, and things like the summer heat, being on a screen too long, a busy life that you feel, oh, I've got to do that and I can't say no to everything, and doing everything, eating heating pungent foods, drinking wine, caffeine, all of these are going to be, so if you do a little part of that, you're probably sort of okay. But if you do a lot of that, which in a way our life encourages us to do, then this is how balance can go. All right, so it is this combination. And the thing is, if you have that knowledge of, okay, what can I, and what I love as well is that it doesn't have to be a complete overhaul. You don't have to change all your diet. What I offer is flexitarian. So if you're a meat eater, if you eat fish, if you're vegetarian, if you're vegan, it doesn't matter. It's about having those principles and knowing them to go, ah, I'm feeling this. If I eat a bit more of this and a bit less of that, I'm going to feel a bit better. And obviously it's not a miracle fix, but over time, like just for example, I am a Pitta dosha, so I have a lot of heat. So we all have a different combination. So part of my diet now, I just make sure I have coconut in it. I have coriander. I have, you know, so there are certain things that I know will help me keep nearer in balance than if I don't have them, you know. And that's not me changing my whole menu. It's just like, you know, so this is what I'm sharing in the Pitta balancing program, because it's actually so simple. You don't need a, you know, it is a reset, but you don't need a complete overhaul. And those things, if you bring them in, even if it's hormonal, it will be changing things. So you won't have that awful spike from all my home, you know, also our hormones. I mean, it depends. Obviously, if things are more medical, you know, work alongside that. But actually, yes, it can change things like that and help settle the system. And the fire is only one aspect. So there are 3 doshas, but I won't go into that now. But it's the fire that we're focusing on now, because we're all affected by the heat.
And how would you know? I mean, you might tell me this is all part of your program, so just go and sign up to the program, and that's fine.
No.
But
Yeah.
how do we know what we are? They all different pittas or all different doses? What are they?
So I will just explain it in a. So basically, as I say, Ayurveda looks at as nature. So if we're looking at nature, there are 5 elements, and that is water, earth, fire, space, and air. Okay. So the Pitta dosha is the fire and water. Okay, so fire and water. So as I say, when it's in balance, it's our passion, that's our drive. it's our leadership qualities, our confidence, but when it's out of balance, it as I say, it leads to all of these symptoms. Also emotionally, we can get really critical and angry and frustrated, and it can lead to burnout. And Ayurveda's understanding is that if we can keep coming back to balance, then we could even keep symptoms at bay. The symptoms are actually because things have accumulated.
Yeah.
So that's Pitta. Then there is the Vata dosha, and the Vata dosha is space and air. Okay. So if you can imagine, when we get too much space and air in our system, we feel really anxious and ungrounded, because it's like this. It's this real sort of frenetic busyness. So I know we're going to be talking about screen time. It's really the Vata dosha and the Pitta dosha that get out of balance, because we're all in the head looking at the screen, and that upsets our Vata, or we're really intense and that upsets our Pitta. Okay. And not only that, we're going to be moving into the Vata season, which is autumn, winter, because obviously autumn, winter, you've got more air and space and wind and all of that. So we're going into that season. And so I'll be doing another program around that, because in that time, we really need to be brought down and grounded.
Yeah.
And then the third dosha is the Kapha dosha. And the Kapha dosha is a lovely sort of grounded earthly qualities. It's earth and water. So when that's in balance, we're really steady and stable. But when we have too much Kapha, we get stuck, we get a bit low, we can't get going. And that's in the springtime. So we do a whole thing around that. How can we uplift ourselves? How can we get ourselves back out there? So that in a nutshell. The only thing I didn't say is that when the Vata dosha is in balance, it's our lovely sort of quick creativity. So they're the three parts of the jigsaw, if you like. And then, and I'm aware of time, but just very briefly, is that there is what we call the dosha quiz, which I will be launching soon, where you can just do this lovely quiz and you can find out what proportion you are. So, what balance of the Vata, the Pitta and the Kapha. And that can be important to know, because obviously if you've got more of one thing in you, you probably need to keep an eye on that a bit more, because it goes without saying that will go out of balance quicker. But whatever you are, you can have imbalances. You can have imbalances all three, and be working with all three. So yeah, if for people who are interested in knowing more, that will be coming soon. So really just join the Ayurveda Wellbeing platform, and as we grow, I'll be informing of what we're offering.
That's brilliant. That's so good, because that was actually going to be my next question, is that how do we know actually what we are and where we sit with that? Because obviously, you alluded to the fact that you're Pitta dosa. I presume probably that I am at least partly that too.
Yeah.
Although there's definitely a lot of anxiety there at the moment as well. So maybe a little bit of space. Was it space and?
But you see, this can be outside things, Becky. So whatever you are. But there is that other lovely thing. What happened to me when I found out I was a Pitta dosha, I could almost be a bit more forgiving for myself. The time I would get critical, or I'd get this, and I think, well, this is part of who I am. But at least I know that now. I can rein it back in and try to, just have it for, my energy for doing my business, or which is easier said than done. But it's yeah.
I do certainly think that putting on labels on things can be tricky, but personally I find that if I can put something in a box and go, oh yeah, this must be because I'm in this phase of whatever at the moment, then that actually eases my anxiety, and I can kind of just be a bit kinder to myself. Similar to when I went through finding out that I had imposter syndrome, it was a bit of a light bulb moment, going, oh geez, that explains a lot. And now I can I know when I'm going through an imposter syndrome moment, and I can just sit back and go, oh shucks, that's what that is.
Exactly. It's about understanding ourselves. And as you say, it's this being gentle and kind with ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves, and the way society is that we're supposed to have all the answers and we're supposed to be this, that, and the next thing. And it's really like, no, stop a
Yeah.
minute.
Absolutely. I just want to check, Corinna, are you a hard need to get off at 12:30, or are
No,
you okay?
no,
Okay. We won't overrun too much, just conscious that we
no.
started a couple of minutes
Yes,
late. So
you, Becky. Yeah, yeah.
super. And then I suppose with the online world and nature, they don't always complement each other. How do you personally find a balance between Ayurvedic well-being and being online? Because you're a business owner, you're bound to spend a lot of time online, whether it's marketing your business, trying to find clients. How do you find that balance in your world?
A good question. And I do, like anyone, have to rein myself back in. I think because of being Ayurvedic sounds a bit naff, doesn't it? But being involved in the Ayurvedic work has really helped my awareness of when things are going out of balance. So when I feel that, and actually recently I've been feeling it because of the heat and because I'm getting this program out, it's like I could be on the screen late at night and then I really will feel it the next day. And so then I've got to stop and think, no, okay, some time off, you get out into nature. So really what I would say all the time, it's that that's why in a way meditation's good, and mindfulness, because we can just be on autopilot and not even realize that we're doing it. So it's about somehow bringing that awareness in and going, right, no, balance. I'm making sure that you've got
Yeah.
both going on, really.
I find that more and more in the conversations that I'm having with people, it is around, basically we are all human. There are going to be times for all of us where we spend too much time on our screens, whether that's scrolling through social media, working late, etc. But there is something about just recognizing what's happening, what you're doing, and then reinstating those boundaries.
Absolutely. So you hit the nail on the head. It's like, like when I'm working with one-to-one with clients, and it's not just that, but they don't even realize what they're doing because they're in the middle of something. And it's almost a bit shocking when they then realize what they're doing. But then by knowing it, you can do something about it,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me at the moment, I'm noticing a bit of a trend with I've sadly got some friends who are going through various bereavements and cycles of grief, and they've been doom scrolling. So as a result of that, they've put a boundary in place that's meant that they've completely come off social media. But there's a bit of my brain that goes, but surely there's got to be another way, that means that we can put other boundaries in place that don't mean coming off social media completely, because social media can be a really great place if you tune into the right things. So
No,
I
and
don't know how we get around that, but
yeah, it's about fine tuning. It's this fine
yes,
making sure the quality of what you're watching is actually going to support you and nourish you, rather than this mindless taking on, and I think this is going back to the Pitta dosha. If you think eons ago, we didn't even know what was happening in the next village. Now we've got the whole world we've got to process, and it's this, if we don't fully process things, we're going to feel overloaded, so yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I must say, I'm always impressed where you put your boundaries in about when you're available or not, and things like that. So important.
absolutely. I mean, we all learn the hard way, don't we? So they haven't always been there, but um, I do count myself as very lucky, because despite being a social media manager and spending a lot of time online, I have put very strict boundaries in place. I don't have any notifications on my phone except for immediate family, and that's just in case of emergencies. But everyone else is muted. I don't have any Instagram notifications coming up, nothing. But that was really important for me and my well-being. And I do think some of it is you've got to work out what works best for you. If deleting apps is the right thing for you, by all means go for it, but look at other options as well.
Exactly, because exactly that, we are all different, so we can't, we've got to find our own way, as you say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a game of trial and error, isn't it? So I think we've actually covered most of the things that I wanted to talk about. I suppose actually one more question just before we come to a close. Are there any signs or signals that we might notice with when our digital habits are tipping us out of balance, and especially around the Ayurveda bit? Is there anything that might show up for us in our bodies?
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Well, it's if as simple as saying all the negative things, really. So, when we're starting to feel really tight and tense in our body, when we're feeling tired and no energy, when we're feeling irritable, restless, when we can't sleep because we're wired, all of these things, but even within that, just by taking pauses, by getting out into nature, by being mindful of what we eat, because I think that's what surprised me so much in my training, just how different I could feel by what I was eating. And so it's nothing to do with diets. Ayurveda is nothing to do with the diet, because also once you know what your constitution is, it's what's right for you. And so it's like this lovely, oh, it's just about me and what's right for me. So yeah, I think that's how it would show up. Yeah, yeah.
That's brilliant. I love that. I've got so many other paths I could go down now asking questions, but we'll kind of start to wrap up now.
Another time would be lovely. It's lovely.
Yeah, I've had so many conversations with people over the last few weeks, which have all been beautiful, but half an hour, just quite frankly, isn't long enough. So there's definitely a series 2 of this coming. Maybe in the autumn when I don't have to have all the fans on.
Exactly.
So if people want to find out more about you, what's the best thing that they can do? Is it to sign up to the community? What does that look like?
It depends, obviously if they want one-to-one work with me, just email me, Corinna@corinnakitchen.com. But otherwise, really, if they're interested in knowing more about Ayurveda, specifically about the food and nutrition and pure essential oils I'm going to be launching as well, to sign up to the Ayurveda Wellbeing platform. It's free, and they are free to be as engaged or not as engaged as they like. Come along to a meditation if they feel like it. And then on the 1st of September, I am launching 2 free mini programs which are connected to food and nutrition and the Pitta dosha, our fire, and how to cool it, because actually that time, September to October, is a really important time to our dear bodies, our livers, and everything that's been overheated because of the build-up of the heat. And what can be really important is to bring these foods in then before we go into the autumn season. And that leads into the main program, which it's pre-recorded actually, but I'm starting it on the 11th of September, because there will be a dedicated community and I'll go live and tell people how to make the most of it. We'll probably do a cookery together one week and a Q&As. So, it's full support the whole way up until October, when then we'll do the Vata balancing program. So, and my website, CorinaKitchen.com. So that's basically how to get hold of it.
Brilliant. That's fantastic, Corinna. Well, I for one can't wait to see what's coming, although please make sure you don't give everything away for free. From business owner to business owner.
Thank you.
And just for anyone watching this live or on the replay, I can highly recommend Corinna's meditations. They're every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Is that right?
Becky. Yeah, yeah.
I've attended quite a few now, and honestly, they are just what you need midweek after a busy, hectic day. And even in this heat, like, it cools me down so much just to do them. And you do get transported somewhere else. It's just a beautiful, beautiful experience. So thank you for doing those, and thank you for doing them for free. I mean,
Thank you. Thanks.
there is an option, by the way, to buy Corinna a coffee. Is that an actual coffee or a virtual coffee? I never
Oh yeah.
understand how that
We just
works.
no, it's like a donation. So it's
Uh,
a donation. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, we're not all going to meet you in the local cafe for it.
But thank you for your interest in my work, Becky, and for this opportunity. It's really lovely to speak with you. Lovely to have you on the meditation when you can make it. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me, Corinna. So
Pleasure.
that pretty much almost wraps up our season. We've got 2 more to come over the next few weeks. So I look forward to seeing some of you on those. We've got some interesting conversations still to come. But thank you, Corinna. So following this session, following our chat, I'll put this onto my feed, and then I'll collaborate with you on there as well, and it will go out on YouTube. And then I'll make sure that all the links to everything that we've discussed go up on my stories as well, so everyone can access those.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
joining. Bye.